One.
Should we actually introduce what we're doing first?
Yeah.
Like with the digital, like not like our own topics, but like what this assessment is, or.
Oh no! Literally,
don't worry about
just
that.
talk
It
about your
doesn't
general
It's
topic. That's
just
fine.
Yeah.
I'm Taya, and my digital artifact is about vision boards on an Instagram page. What I do is I let music students design vision boards, and I upload them to an Instagram page to help current and future music students get over their doubt on what their career would look like in the future. I just feel like there's a lot of stigma around not being able to find a career with a music degree, and I want to help eliminate that stigma.
I'm Callum White. My DA is an artist profile on various social media apps. Right now I'm on Instagram, and I'm looking at marketing, creating an environment which is sort of different from other pages, and a community, and that's my goal.
Hey, I'm Christian. Similar to Callum, I'm doing an Instagram page, just some short form content, seeing what it takes as a musician to get some followers and supporters, and then how, or if possible, can turn those followers or supporters into like sort of monetizing it through like a Patreon or another sort of service or platform like that. Even like ad revenue, stuff like that on Instagram, just seeing what it takes to make money on that sort of side of music creation. Yeah.
I'm Rex. I'm doing a interactive game timeline on a website of the 2015 first-person shooter Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Mostly just trying to go over several different of the aspects of the game, so the history and development of the game, the different content creators and their influence on the game, and also the esports scene and how that has influenced the game over time.
My name is Edwina, and I'm running a TikTok page called Diva Does. It's like a bit of like an online persona where I'm just posting lifestyle and beauty content, such as makeup tutorials, hair tutorials, and day in the life videos as well.
Hi, I'm Daniel. For my DA, I did a photography-based Instagram account under the name Dane Croc Photo. In this account, I posted a new photograph 3 times a week, trying different editing styles and attempting different various photographic niches. The whole concept was to analyze how different formats of photography brings different audience engagement, and then I would take that and create the same type of photo and create a series and see how an audience reacts to that.
Hello, I am Ollie. I'm doing my DA on a digital AI news website called The Daily AI. Basically covering from multiple Australian news outlets, getting AI to summarise them for me, and having it fully auto-generated and put up on a website, changing daily. Yeah. For my digital artifact, my target audience I chose was... I'm kind of focusing anyone who's looking for short form, like news grabs, something you can look at, not have to sift through information to figure out the general topic. It's going to be max like 5 to 10 lines of what's happened throughout the day, not trying to push anything on you, just telling you what it is. So I've kind of like curated the AI just to give me like 5 lines, very descriptive, very general. So it's kind of anyone who's just like doesn't have the time or the need to read the news, and like, or doesn't generally like reading the news, because the news can be pretty bad to read sometimes and not very enjoyable. So it kind of gives you what you need to know quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. I chose Instagram as my platform because you can just post singular images, and it's mostly people looking for images. I was going to choose really any platform where you could choose images, but it doesn't really create that instant gratification of views, and it would take forever to get results if I did it any other way. My target audience was mostly people who have never seen photography, because they give this raw view, like a very amateur view. It's not like an art critic telling me what I should have in my photos. It's very me personally, and I can adapt myself and my own artistic brand from that. But in targeting my DA, it's mostly for people who don't want to stick to a certain guideline of what they want to do, and if for like future students, they should create their DA around what they love, what they want to do, and how it.
Please. So thinking about challenges around my DA, a big one would be finding like motivation and time to film my content. I think to get around this, though, like it's kind of coming to the topic of like liquid labor, where it's just any kind of free time you have, whether it's like morning, night, afternoon, like I'm using that to either make my content, edit it, or plan it out. And that's just been the only way that I can really find time to make and piece everything together, where it's like I'm waking up and I'm starting to film, and then I just film throughout the day till I get to the end of the day, or I just find like pockets of time. Like it's hard for me to just set aside like a collection of hours, because most of my time is either spent working on other assignments or going to work. But yeah, from the challenge of just like finding time and motivation to make my content, I think the easiest thing is just working outside of like the norm. Like I'm instead of like working only between like 9 to 5, I'm working probably from like 7 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. to make things work and to fit it all into my schedule.
I think my DA has changed a lot ever since I started it. Ever since I started, being here, I was very much nervous. I was like, how am I going to do something? Like, I thought the digital artifact was like very strange, and I was like, how am I going to find something to do? How am I going to do something? What should I do? And then I started thinking of what do I like, and I'm like, oh, I could do something that I like. So when I started, it was very much just about the game. It was just about the game, honestly. It was just the game. And then it slowly changed into I could do something informative. I could start, kind of informing, teaching, just telling people from words of a human, telling them about this is about the game, so they can learn to broaden their horizon about other aspects of life. Because most people really don't care. So if they do care, they'll spend a little bit of time. So when I first started it, it was very much, I'm going to make a website and it's just going to be, I don't know, about the game. But then it became about an interactive game timeline. So you can see how it's changed over time, how it's affected culture and all of that. And that's kind of how I've adjusted it.
Alright, so just wanted to talk about some challenges that I've faced while working on my DA. Main one that I kind of came across was just the time frame that I wanted to get everything done in versus what was realistic. I wanted to have like actual long form YouTube videos being posted on YouTube like at least once a week, and then have like 2 or 3 short form on Instagram. And then when I actually went to go do it, like with my schedule in a week, I went to actually go do it, and I found that I just really didn't get enough time. Like I was pushing it to do 2, even like I wouldn't be able to fit in a like a long form and 2 or 3 short forms. So I've kind of had to sort of figure out like a way around my schedule. I mean, my schedule's like ever changing, so I'm sort of still sort of getting a feel for that, still working on that. But yeah.
So for my DA, I've kind of struggled with how do I make people care? And that's the big question. How do you make someone care? I'm not sure. Ultimately, it probably comes down to the format and medium that you are trying to do. TikTok, for instance, is a very attention-based, fast-moving, so making someone care on that is like impossible. Instagram, there's a photo format which gives you a bit more interaction and a longer staying impact, but also a lot of it, since they've moved to the Reels sort of format, it's very different. So what platform you choose is very important to your DA and how it performs, and you should choose a platform that reflects its values.
mention, like, with the platforms that you're choosing and the algorithm, like, that's a really big thing to think about. And you want to kind of think about how you're, like, using the algorithm to your advantage, because I was reading on Moodle about it, and it's like you basically have two audiences. One is like actual people that engage with your content, and two is the algorithm. So you kind of have to learn like what to feed it to make it want to pump out your content more, whether that's with like using hashtags, original audio, like stuff like that. Like from my content, I've learned that videos that are like a tutorial where it's a trending audio over it gets more views than like a video where I'm like actually sitting down talking. So that's just like something to think about with algorithms.
Personally, I've found that because I don't have a social media aspect, mine is just a website. I don't have an algorithm built for me. It's purely a website. It's purely based on people searching for it and clicking on it. So I'm thinking in the future, I'm possibly going to have to somehow automate a way to have an Instagram account created so that it can like also have an algorithm aspect created to it, because most news websites, like you'll see 7 News, 9 News, they all have Instagram accounts now to push their articles, because otherwise no one's going to go online and read a news article. They're going to see like through the TV, and so it's like websites aren't a popular stream of media. So that's one thing that I've been looking at, is also creating Instagram to run at the same time, while also having it completely AI run as well, which has been a really hard thing to do, having everything automated and finding a way to do it where it's cheap and effective.
Yeah, it's not on. Oh, there we go. If I had more time for this DA, honestly, I would actually start interviewing students, and I'd post that on stories and make a little highlight for it. So I feel like you should be making posts, but you should also be making like engagement content that you can do on stories, like ask me a question, what's your favorite thing about this subject, what would you do with your music degree, and just get like actual personal opinions on the Instagram account itself, so I know more ways to improve about it.
Yeah, I think with creating your DA, audience engagement you build the platform of what content you want to create, but having that audience engagement helps you promote what you want. Like you kind of give back. You take from them and you give back what they want to see. So it kind of almost feeds into your DA a lot. So like having like Ollie said, like no audience feedback, because they have to specifically search for. If they're not interested in that thing, then they're not going to look for it. But having a wide algorithm, you can see what the algorithm wants and then you feed it, but that gives back to you. So it's kind of a two-way street with creating.
Yeah, definitely. And also like touching on the idea of finding people to interview, you can also just like find other people's Instagrams who are doing a music degree, because a lot of people do have it in their bios or are very public about it, and you can just like send them messages online being like, hey, what's your been experience like? You're doing the degree, like have you found anything, job opportunities, have you been looking, have you not been looking, like what have you been doing? If you wanted to do that aspect and like look for external sources and you wanted to interview someone, it doesn't have to be in person, it can just be online by shooting a really quick message.
I have a question for Taya. With your DA so far, like what do you think the outcome is for music students, like career-wise after? Because I do have a friend that has done a music degree, however now she is going into teaching, like after she's doing her masters and stuff. So I'm just curious, like what the feedback has been to your DA.
I haven't received much feedback on it at the moment, because it hasn't picked up that much yet. But I just think there's too much of a stigma around actual studying music students. Because just in my own personal experience, when you say you're studying a music degree, people's first question will be like, oh, so what can you actually do with that? So I'm just hoping to kind of clear the air around what you can actually get with a music degree and what places it can take you, rather than just a teaching degree.
Do you hope to get like results from that in any way? Like, do you hope to help future students and bring more people to the degree, or do you hope just the students that are coming from the degree, if that makes sense?
100%. It's definitely about the future students as much as it is about the current students. Like the account is directed towards both, because I feel like some people are too scared to do a creative arts based degree because they're scared that they don't know what to do with it after they get it.
Staying on that whole music topic, I think it is quite interesting what you're doing, because music in general is like a bit of a topic that's like, or like it's something that you'd study and then it kind of doesn't feel like it has a straight endpoint. Like you either have to go work for a record label or do something across those lines, or go work at a school like you said. So it's interesting how you're looking into other pathways and stuff that you can go through once you get that music degree.
On the same topic, with your direction of it, is it helping new students or like students who haven't started the degree yet? Or is it targeted people who are already doing it, who have self-doubt in their degree?
I feel like it's mostly towards future students because people are always in doubt about what they can do with it, as I said earlier. But the current students, it's also good for the current students as well, because I know a few people who are doing a double degree just because they're a bit nervous that they won't be able to get any work with just a music degree.
Yeah, that seems great.
Well, I'm a participant of this DA. She's asked me to do a vision board for what I think my future might look like, or what I want out of this degree. And I find that has been fairly helpful. I mean, it gives me a visual impact, or like a visual identifier of what I want out of this degree. So to that end, I would say that yes, it has helped me maybe a little bit, but it definitely has done something.
I feel like it would probably actually really help for future students and current students, because I think for so many people that do uni degrees, they don't even always really know what the outcome's going to be. Like even myself, when I started this degree, I just was like, I just want to finish. So I think having like a resource like that in the past would have, like, not that I'm doing music, but like just for like more creative degrees and everything, like would it have been nice having a resource that I can look at to like visualize where I wanted to end up, instead of, you know, kind of just the conversations where it's like, well, if you don't have, you know, like nursing, teaching, like degrees like that, where it's you do all the work, you finish, and you know exactly where you go, it can get a bit overwhelming to just stop and think, okay, like what is my kind of like next steps with this? Like you can't really, I think, easily plan out, you know, like your 5-year plan or whatever, because it's just like, I actually don't know. But that resource like that probably would have helped a long time, for me, like almost 5 years ago, to be like, okay, like I'm going to start this and I can picture this in my future.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for that.
One thing that I'm personally really interested in is, Rex, with your look into Rainbow Six Siege in particular, but they're kind of broadening up also just games in general and how much they've like changed recently, like the influence from like streamers and stuff, like going into games, like along with Rainbow Six Siege, games like Rocket League have become really popular again and all this stuff. Are you looking more into like the idea of like the content creators who are like pushing Rainbow Six Siege to go further and to kind of like come back to life a bit? Or are you just looking into the game itself and how its life cycle's been?
Well, I think it's a part of the life cycle that these content creators are making the game. Like, and another example of a different game would be Fortnite. Fortnite paid creators to play the game in its very early stages, and now it's one of the biggest games in the world. So I'm talking, my DA, I'm doing all of it. I'm covering the game because the game has changed a lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the game you can't do anymore from 2015. And there's a lot of things that have happened over time from content creators, such as the game itself was thought of being, it was dead, it was not good anymore, and then content creators rose the game back up, made it popular, because they're the people who, honestly, they're the people who are more important than most people who work with the game. And sometimes you can see that it's not being appreciated. Most of you probably know Clash Royale. They had one of their biggest years last year, and the CEO made a post on, I don't know what platform it was, but he made a post about how he was proud of the team and the developers, which it wasn't the developers who did it, it was the content creators.
Yeah,
so it's like they do so much work, the content creators, and then they're not the people making the game, but overall it's everything. It's the game, how it's changed, the content creators, how they contribute to changing it, and it's also esports, because that's something that's big with a very esports game like Rainbow Six Siege.
Like